If you're unfulfilled in your life, if you're just looking for that thing that you were created to do, this program is going to help you do that. We're going to help you align with your purpose. Welcome into the show, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Earl Hall. I'm your host for Align with Your Purpose. Make sure that you do check out our website at alignwithyourpurpose.co. We've got a brand new show coming to you each and every Sunday. Make sure at the bottom of the website, alignwithyourpurpose.co, you check out all of our social media links. We're on Blog Talk Radio, YouTube, iTunes, the whole nine yards. So make sure that you check us out. I'm super excited today. As you see, I've got a guest with me on the show, Barbara Faison, and she is the author of this amazing book. I'm going to see if I can hold this up to the screen here. There you go. Why Struggle? That is the name of her book. Barbara, welcome to the show, Align with Your Purpose. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Earl? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing awesome, doing amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us. We had a good little chat before we went on air here to bring people up to date. And I want to go back to that. Tell us what it is that you mainly do in the spiritual realm of helping people to stop struggling.
Ooh, yeah, that's an ongoing thing, right? I am a mindfulness and meditation ambassador. And as we were discussing, that's simply a tool that I use to encourage people to consider mindfulness and meditation. It's all the buzz now, but I've been doing it for over 25 years. I've been teaching it probably about 10. Okay. And in that realm, part of how this book came about is I was struggling.
Isn't that the thing? The message is always to the messenger first.
Exactly. And I always say we teach what we need to continue to practice, right? Mm-hmm. So I need to continue to practice being in practice, which is what meditation and mindfulness is. And so I do that. And one of the ways I do that is I do a daily, yes, I said daily.
All right.
Meditation practice on Facebook through my live Facebook group that's called A Slice of Silence, because what I find is people look at meditation as, I just don't have time to do so and so and so and so. Well, do you have time to breathe? Well, then you have time to meditate, and so I call it a slice of silence because sometimes we get a sliver of time, and sometimes we have more time. Sometimes we can do the whole pie, but we do 10 minutes of meditation, and I like for part of that to be silent because we live in a very loud, noisy world.
Lots of stuff going on.
And for most people, silence is frightening. So I like to have a little bit of silence. Normally, when it's not cold, we go right out there on my deck. And that's where, so you hear the birds. So the soundtrack of life is nature.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. So that's what I've been doing in the spiritual realm for, 20, 25 years. And I wrote this book because I wanted to stop struggling myself. So I came up with 25 topics, if you want to call them, that remind me of what this experience of life is all about. And it is just an experience.
What do you think probably one of the main, or maybe there's a couple of themes that you have, but what is one of the main things that comes up over and over again as far as what people struggle with that you've been in connection with?
A couple things people struggle with is self-confidence, not being confident enough in themselves. They struggle with feeling like they want to try to change people, They can't allow people to be who they are. They want people to be more like them, right?
Yeah, life would be so much better if you would just change.
Better if you would just do what I ask you to do.
Just act right. Get some act right on you.
The way I want you to do it, right? Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that always works well in marriages.
Yes. That's why meditation is a practice.
Oh my God, I'm not even going to go there.
You meditate? I joke and say I meditate so I don't hurt people.
Right, because I won't knock your head off.
Most people know who they are. But, it is an ongoing process. And so I do like to keep it light. It's not that
Yeah.
serious. It's really not.
Yeah.
It's just practice. And the more we do it, the hopefully more aware we are of it, because sometimes I'm better at it, sometimes I'm not. And it's okay.
Yeah. In your book, as I was going through that, one of the things that you say, and I'm going to read here from my other screen, and this is about your beliefs and life philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one that you had is one that struck me more than the others, because it's the one thing that I think that is the end all be all of everything, which is love. And you say being loving, love is the most powerful, healing, and transformative power. Being loving is the answer to most situations. Dive in on that one for me.
Well, and I have a really good crew of girlfriends that have close to the same beliefs. And so I believe that, because when we can come from a place of love,
Mm-hmm.
it changes everything. Because if I can come from a place of love, I don't judge you. I can be kind to you. I can let go of my interpretations of how you need to be, and I can see you for who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend and I were talking about this, but the thing is, you have to have that love for yourself in order to be loving.
That's it.
And sometimes we may not be in that space that we're feeling loving, or should I say, and we can be kind.
Yes.
So if I'm not in a loving space, I can generally be kind, and most people will know what that feels like.
Absolutely. I look at love, especially if I qualify the word as unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have that conditional love. I love you as long as you do this. I love you as long as you act this way. But it's not a unconditional love. And I think that's the thing where if you don't love yourself first and most, there is nothing else you can give to anyone else. And it will be a conditional love, because that conditional love means that I can only be happy if you do this. So you've given away power that you need never give away, because love is available to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put conditions on it, that's just what I think is a lot of the problem, whether it's in relationships or whatever, mostly in relationships. When we talk about loving someone, I see it as so much condition put on it as opposed to being unconditional. Is that what your experience has been, or how is it that you are seeing that play out in life with people that you know?
I do see that. And here's what I see. We come here to have this experience called life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on any given day, my 18-year-old may show up, and my husband's 25-year-old may show up.
Mm-hmm.
The truth of the matter, as opposed to our 50 plus somethings, right?
Right, right.
So that's how I look at it, because we're constantly going through this cycle of life. We have experiences. Many of us will never deal with the stuff that happened to us. We just keep on moving, right? So the concept of unconditional love is a great concept. I feel very fortunate. There are people that believe that we pick our parents. There are people that believe we have no control over that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I hit the lottery.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Whatever you believe.
Look, I believe we choose. And I say I chose well.
I think that we've been here before, so we know to choose well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at that, and then I look at it and say, okay, so most days my grown person comes to play, but every now and then my 25-year-old might show up.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband had his own experiences, so his 25-year-old may show up. So now we're not the most mature, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Because if you and I know that the bottom line is anything that upsets me, it's me that's getting upset and not them, then that gives us a different way of being in the world and navigating the world, right?
Yes.
So I call it my bubble. I like my bubble. My bubble is a good bubble. I keep myself protected in my bubble because I get it. And if I get upset, I have my tools that I go to handle myself, to go, okay, girl, you really didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
So let's shake it off. Let's go do some tapping. Let's, do some hot kriyas or whatever it is, these things that I do to help me get back to the place where my 50-something-year-old person can show up every day with
Absolutely.
maturity and wisdom that I hope I have. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And that takes us into the chapter that you have on you can't make anyone. In there, you write this: we can't control anyone as much as we may think we can. Learn to accept people for who they are, not who you want them to be. Learn to manage your ability to respond to others and check in with yourself. Learn to step back and check your expectations. And I love that you always draw it back to the individual. It's not about the other person. It's about you. Speak to that a little bit more.
Yes, I have these great mentors that remind me when I have my little moments. What did he do or she do or whatever, right? So quick story. I'm the Black unicorn. I got married over 50 to a really fantastic Black guy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Really
That's
guy. And
my wife will argue with you.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But you can't get married over 50 blah, blah. But that was what I chose to do. I wanted to enjoy my life, get to this point in my life. So I married this wonderful guy. So with that, I have 2 bonus sons. One is 14. I don't need to say anything else, right?
Right.
That's all I need to say. So a lot of, we've been together going on 10 years, been married going on 4 years. So I've been with him since he was a little guy. And
Gotcha.
I'm having these conversations with my girlfriend. I'm like, he's driving me nuts. But I know he's not driving me nuts. I know it's me. And my girlfriend would go, are you doing your radical forgiveness? Are you doing all these little things? Right? And
Don't you hate it when your folks shove it back in your face, the stuff you've been teaching?
But you know what? I got the coolest girlfriends that they shove it and you're like, oh, they're so kind with it, right? That's when you know you're dealing with some wise folk because they know how to tell you in a kind, loving way. They're not like slapping you upside the head.
Right.
So,
Right.
I really just kind of had to go to that. Why am I allowing these people to hold me hostage? Because that's what you're doing.
Right.
You're giving away your power and allowing someone else to unnerve you. When you get that and go, what? Wait, stop. But didn't you say you believed?
Right.
That you're an infinite being and blah, all these different things.
All that.
Are you going through this? Because it's a process.
Yeah.
And it's a practice.
Mm.
And it's a practice. And that's why I say it's all a practice. And when we realize, we're still here because we got stuff to work through.
Exactly.
And so if I'm claiming to be the meditation mindfulness ambassador, I'm going to have some stuff I got to go through. And I'm going to have to be able to be transparent with people about it. Right.
That's the thing. And it's the one thing that I have done pretty much most of my career as a business owner, as a coach, is that if I don't have the ability to be vulnerable, mm-hmm. how can I teach others
exactly.
from my own experience? If I'm trying to cover up or make it look like my whole life has been a bed of roses and it hasn't, mm-hmm. And that to share my struggles and to share the things that I've overcome and things of that nature. I just think it's vitally important to be as transparent as you can. Obviously there's something I had an uncle, he's passed away now. One of his sayings was, you tell some, you keep some.
Right. And I like to say, I will be personal with you, but
mm-hmm.
I won't be intimate.
Mm.
Right. I can share something personal about myself, but I'm not going to be intimate about things that go on because mm-hmm. I just don't believe in that. I learned from my mom. My mom is like, you don't tell people all your business. And they're from a different generation, but I understand that now as a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's things that I'm not going to tell people about my marriage because they don't need to know.
Yeah.
And so I can be personal, but I'm not going to be intimate. And I think that is where we see some of the issues going on with people because they are personal and intimate. And you mm-hmm. can't put all of your intimate business out there and then expect to still have the same type of relationship with the people that you're sharing all your intimate business.
Exactly. So
I think that is in this world that we live in, there's this balance of I can share, but know when not to share.
And know who to share it with.
Exactly. My mom had all these great ones. My mom had this thing. She's, I always have a good talking partners. Have those people. And I say, have those people in what you're doing, like in voiceover world, right? Now that I'm doing voiceover, I knew I needed to have somebody I could talk to, that I could text with. Andrea Daniels is my voice.
Oh, that's, yeah.
So I'm like, because I'm not going to be able to do this by myself and just going into the groups and thinking, no, I'm going to need to go, girl, or can you help me? What? Am I crazy? Is this person asking for this or what? You know what I mean? So, but I think that is also being vulnerable and being wise for me, because I'm like, I know myself.
Yeah.
I know I have to have people in whatever I'm doing, because at work, when I was in corporate, I had my corporate girlfriends that I would talk to about it.
Right.
I call it like your work wife or your work husband. You need to have someone that you can have those conversations where they understand what you're talking about, as opposed to bringing this home. My husband's an electrician. I'm going, what am I going to talk to him about? Honey, I was on Fiverr and they wanted me to sound like this. He's going to be like, what?
Right. Don't get it. Don't get it at all. And it's, my wife and I are the same way. It's like what she does. Hey, I first of all, I don't even know why you do what you do, but it's like,
right. Exactly.
And so she'll share things, but then, I'll hear her on the phone with her girlfriends from work and they're just talking, and I'm the same way with people in voiceover or talking about align with your purpose. I can go on and on and on because they get it. Yeah. You need to have that person or that group that just gets it. You don't have to explain it. It's just known. And it's important. One of the things, as I switch subjects here, one of the things that you talk about was one of the things that I talk to a lot of people about in my coaching that I do. And it centers around money and how it is that they feel about money and feel about their own value and worth. You've probably heard me talk about this more than enough in the groups that we're in. But your chapter on money is not evil. And in there you say, investigate your beliefs about money and take time to get clear about your relationship to money. You may have to you may have to go deeper into your family dynamics to gain more insight. And the practice that you put was, imagine you won the lottery for the amount of money you feel would set you up for life. Think of all the things you would do with that, basically. How is it that I'm getting some feedback here? Let me turn this down a bit. How is it that people get so turned around about money when it is so accessible?
Well, where we are is that we understand that it's all about vibration, right? So, I might be able to vibrate and get to a point where I get some money, but if I'm not able to maintain that level of appreciation and understanding that I'm an infinite being, that all of this is readily available to me, then that's how I think you'll see those stories about, I won 20,000 million trillion dollars and now I'm broke.
Right.
Right. And so it is really going back to, like what you said, self-love. When I get that concept and understand that I'm not my hair, I'm not my money, I'm not all of these things, that I am just an infinite being. And when I connect with that and stay in that space, I think that makes a big difference. And so, money has been this thing that we are striving for. But what I think, Earl, is people don't do what I call the R's, the re's, right? They don't review. They don't review what's going on in their lives, whether it's daily, weekly, yearly. They don't reflect. And then, to me, it's like when I review and go, okay, well, how did that work? That worked fine. And I reflect. Okay, well, now if I were to do that again, would I do it the same way? Okay, so I can resume, keep doing the same thing. I can possibly recalibrate. I can rejuvenate. I can do all these other re's, right? But if I don't ever take the time to reflect and to review what's going on, I just keep going and going and going. And then, a lot of people first say, oh, I won, the lottery, right? And I always say, I'm so logical. It's like, so what would you do if you won the lottery? Well, first thing I would do probably is I would go and I would put the ticket in a safety deposit box, right?
Yeah.
I would find who I'm going to trust to be my confidant in terms of, an accountant or whatever. That's just the way I'm going to do it. I ain't going to tell anybody until I get out. I'm going to probably move, I'm
Change my phone number.
I'm taking my stuff off the web, whatever it is. And I was asking my husband, I'm like, so in Georgia, do you have to disclose? Because if you don't have to disclose, I would never disclose, but that's my mindset, knowing that I'm not going to allow that to change who I am, but I'm going to prepare for whatever is to be, right?
Absolutely. When you let me see, I want to change a setting here. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to put my headphones on.
Okay.
Okay, so we talk about being infinite beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to clear this up a bit. Obviously, those that are watching us on video see that both of us are a little bit of the African American persuasion. Just a little tad. And the raising up of most African Americans is in church. Mm-hmm. That's where we come up. Mm-hmm. And then some of us change and go beyond that, or evolve, or whatever it is that you want to call that. And so many people, and I've had this discussion so many times this week, it's amazing. You talk to anyone and they would say that our spirit is eternal. Mm-hmm. It is, but when you speak to most people, it's always eternal forward, not eternal back. Mm-hmm. It's like all of a sudden you were born, now you're eternal. Right. With that, have you ever had to have discussions with people, whether it is in your meditation groups or in your spiritual consulting and counseling that you do, talking about the fact that we are eternal beings and that we choose to come here and that there's things that we need to understand, and the reason why we go through some of the things we go through is because we're trying to learn lessons? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I gauge that by the people I'm dealing with, right?
Okay.
Because people are just not in that space. And
sure.
Where people are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's why I have my people that I can call and go, girl,
right.
I heard about solar constellation. Did you hear about that? Listen, you can end up down many rabbit holes just like you do on the internet with all of this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So I try to meet people where they are,
mm-hmm.
Because I was raised Methodist.
Okay. I'm a Baptist. I'm a Southern Baptist boy here. So,
and I still think all of that serves a purpose. I think it gave me.
It does. Yes.
Some great hymns that I love.
Oh my gosh.
Church. And
oh my gosh.
What's funny, Earl, is, like I said, when you take time to review and reflect, my father was in the choir. His favorite song was Peace Be Still. The name of my CD is Be Still, right? It's like, duh. Sometimes I can be a little dense at times, right? Really? And it's so funny because I'm an electrical engineer by degree.
Okay.
My husband's an electrician.
Okay.
It dawned on me, I think last year, I was like, oh. And then it dawned on me, ohm is the character for electricity.
Yes. Yes.
Ohm is the highest. I'm telling you.
I know.
Last year, I was like, okay, Barbara, really, don't go telling people that. But 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 you gotta laugh at yourself. So I meet people where they are, and so I kind of gauge people. When you talk to people, you'll get an idea because it's a lot to take in.
Yes.
The concept of infinite beings and what that looks like. But I look back at a relationship I had 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I dated a guy. We were pretty serious. He was an audio engineer.
Wow.
He used to call me the voice. 20 years ago, he was telling me to use my voice. I was acting. Yeah. I was doing acting.
Okay.
And, I look back now. So when I'm in there doing Audacity and editing, I'm like, honey, I need your spirit to come now. Please. What am I doing? You with me? I saw you with me because I need you to be with me right now. Some editing right now. But that's like you said, like going back and and I think about some of the conversations he would have with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 30. I'm like, what are you talking about?
But
And
now they
now
make
I
sense.
totally get it. Right. I totally get now what he's saying, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't
Yeah.
ready to hear it. And he could have tried to pound it in my head,
Mm-hmm.
but I still wouldn't have heard it because it wasn't
Right.
time. It wasn't time.
Yes.
So that's it. So I leave people where they are and just try to meet them there,
Okay.
and answer any questions. And I don't go too deep because I'm still learning a lot of this, right?
Oh, yes. It's a journey. It's a journey.
It is
You'll
a
never
journey.
get it done.
Exactly. And I'm like, but the thing is, like my beliefs in here, they're still the same beliefs. I added a couple because this is the book.
Uh-huh.
The book I wrote, it'll be 20 years next year. It was written in 1999. Yeah, I
Wow.
wrote it when it was like late 30s,
Okay.
right? And so, and I wanted something I could pick up in 20 years and say, yeah, this is still relevant
Mhm.
information. And so that's what I did.
I love the book, and we're going to talk in a moment here just about how people can get that. In our last section here, your chapter on visualization that you have, and what you write about that is think of a specific desire or goal, picture the environment where you are as you are completing the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose that you have with that is to see yourself successfully achieving your goals and realize and releasing your attachment to the result. Releasing your attachment to the result. Talk about that, sister.
Okay, so here is, and I just got this, and this is what is so cool about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I was having this conversation because I have conversations with my meditation group, and
Yeah.
I was explaining to them because we want everything now. We
Mm-hmm.
live in this world, and even though we may not be millennials, we live in the world. So I want it now, doggone it. I don't want to have to
Yeah.
wait. And I came up with this, and I said, just imagine. I came up with two analogies. One is just imagine you're at a restaurant and ordering this meal, and you say, oh, and I want this, this, and this, and then you send it off and it goes to the back. Do you go back and knock on the door and go in there to the chef? How much salt did you put in it? Did you, I can't have this kind of pepper. Put red pepper and not black pepper. No, we don't do that. But that's, but we want it the way we want it when we want it, right? And so it's kind of like, but when we put it out there, the universe is going, yeah, but you're not quite ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give it to you this way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to let you just kind of marinate in it, right? We're going to let it marinate a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're going to give you a little bit more of this.
Let me tag on to that, because even in the process of law of attraction and releasing it to the universe, and if you're fixated on the result, you may hinder and block a result from the universe that will blow your socks off because you want it the way you want it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The way you want it.
Mm-hmm.
As if, like I always say, when I get out the way and let God do what God does, because God's been doing this a whole lot longer than I have. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But here's what happens is when you stay in that vibrational frequency, whatever you want to call it, when you put the energy around it and get the momentum going around it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I literally, when you reached out to me, I think it was Sunday, I do something called life scripting where I script and I write what I want from
journaling.
It's not journaling. It's
not journaling. Okay.
Yeah, it's called life scripting, and there's a teacher here that teaches it. What you do is you write about it. It's like visualization, but you write it because there's something to thinking, to speaking, and to writing.
Yes.
And so she talks about you have a journal, and that's all you put in this journal. You don't put other stuff in it. So you write a little scripture to yourself at the beginning to talk about what it is, and you sign it. And then daily, or however you choose to do it, you write around something as if it's already happened, right? And so I had started writing, I want to be interviewed for podcasts, literally. And then when you sent me the text, I was like, well, thank you. That was pretty quick. I think, my girlfriend and I call these God winks. I think God goes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I'll go, girl, let me tell you this God wink, right? And the same thing happened with, I had a Fiverr gig.
Uh-huh.
And it was for a female shaman. I was so excited.
Oh, wow.
I was excited because I was having some moment with something else on Upwork that we just weren't connecting with it.
Okay.
And, okay, well, this, I'm about to say, y'all can have this and it's okay. Because sometimes you just need to release things.
Yes.
So I got this Fiverr gig. And then I got the Fiverr gig. I was like, girl, it's for a shaman. I'm so excited. So they send over what they wanted to sound like in a male's version. I send it over.
Mm-hmm.
And they come back and say, well, we want you to be more dramatic. We want you to be more dramatic, but be like what's in the video that they sent. I'm like, well, that ain't dramatic at all. This is really dry. So I sent over 2 takes. And I'm like, you can do it, And I was like, I sat and meditated on it. I'm like, clearly, I'm not the voice for this. And I talked to my girlfriend and I was asking her about it. I had her listen to it. And it's in a genre I know nothing about. It's like fantasy, blah, blah, blah. And I was talking with her. I'm like, am I missing something? She's like, yeah. She said, you don't know anything about this, Barbara. This is like, no, you know nothing about it. What they're looking for is almost like a spoof kind of thing. I'm like, oh, I ain't the one for this. I'm not the one for this. Right. So I sent them a nice, my girlfriend said, you do really good. You can tell people bug off. They're ready to work with you again. I did my thank you so much. I just want you to have the perfect voice for this project. And I'm just not sure that I'm the perfect voice, whatever it was. They came back and I was like, oh, well, thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. And it turns out the person who was doing it also was the writer and the voice. And the person who wrote me back said, they're very sensitive. I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to, no. I'm not going to do that. So, but learning to release the outcome and then knowing that just wasn't for me, but the universe was like, I will give her a little something, a little taste. Say shaman, but then it was a different kind of shaman. I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to get into animation anyway. So that's good. Yeah.
Well, Barbara, tell us as we close out here, and once again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with me today. Tell us how we can get your book and how we can get more connected with what it is that you're doing.
Okay. My book is available on Amazon, also from the publisher.
Hold it up.
Yep. Oh, yes. So
there we go.
Why Struggle? And honestly, probably the best way to do it is if you just Google my name and the word Why Struggle, all of that'll pop up. If you want to, probably the best place to get it is at Balboa Press, which is a self-publishing arm of Hay House by UK. And so that's where the ebook, the audio, and the paperback is. And on Amazon is the paperback and the ebook. They can reach out to me again if they Google my name, Barbara Faison. On Facebook, it is J. My middle name is Joyce. My mother knew I was going to be joyful, so she gave me Joyce. But that's where you can also reach out to join the group if you're interested. And it is no pressure. You come on when you come. Right now, we're doing 7:15 a.m. every day during the week. On the weekends, I have a little more flexibility. I let them know when I'm going to do it. Yeah. But if I'm not live, like tomorrow, I won't be live at 7:15. I'll put up a video so people can listen. And I'm also on Instagram as Barbara Faison. I have an Instagram channel. I have a YouTube channel, Barbara Faison. I'm on Twitter. I'm on everything. I'm on Snapchat, but I don't Snapchat anymore. I played around with it.
Yeah. I did that for a minute too.
Yeah. So that's how they can reach me.
Okay, awesomeness. And Faison, Faison.
Exactly.
Barbara. You have to pronounce Barbara. It's not Barbara. It's Barbara.
Original spelling.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you, everyone that is tuned in to watch the program today. Align with your purpose with your host, yours truly, Earl Hall. Make sure you visit the website, www.alignwithyourpurpose.co, where you can get the book by the same name, Align With Your Purpose, as well as check out all of our social media links for the podcast, for the YouTube channel, and everything else. Thank you once again for being here, and we'll see you next time.